Broward County tax deed sale. Welcome back. Now, my name is Ted Thomas, and I've been involved in tax lien certificates and tax defaulted property for the past 3 decades. Now, this episode, we're going to discuss Broward County tax deed sale. So let's start out and let you know that a tax deed sale is really a tax defaulted auction, and the property is going to be sold to the highest bidder. Now, you probably know Broward County because that's the county that surrounds Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is a quite popular place for people to live, and has millions of people live there, and people travel there for lots of vacation. So in today's episode, we're discussing Broward County tax deed sale. It's really an auction, and the property will be sold to the highest bidder. Now, Broward County auctions the property, and the auctions are very popular. People come from all over the United States to go to this auction. Why? Because number one, there's quite a few properties, and number two, they're valuable properties. They're worth a lot of money. So the county can do the sale themselves online or offline, or they can reserve their right and have an auction company do that, and they supervise the auction company, or they can do the whole thing offline. It's going to be up to the county. So the county promotes this auction, and as I say, thousands of people go there. Now, this is an aggressive auction. So if you go live and it's in a room live, you'll see people really yelling and screaming.
How better go there, how better go there, how better go where, how better go here, better go here, how better now, better go.
If it's online, well, you can't quite sense that. But this is an aggressive auction, and the prices really move up quickly, and they move up quickly because there's so much valuable property within that county. All right, now the county government is concerned about collecting money on tax auctions. Now, why are they concerned? Well, the money that comes in from the tax auction, that revenue, in many cases started out because people defaulted on their taxes. Now they're selling the properties. All right, when they sell the properties, this revenue that's coming in is what they're going to use to pay the school teachers. They're going to use that to pay for the schools. They're going to pay for the police department, sheriff's department, fix the roads. You're kind of getting the idea. All the county's employees are going to be paid. So the county is concerned about this revenue. So this auction is a big deal. All right, now there's going to be dozens of questions on the Broward County website to give you answers, okay? Questions and answers that have lots of them. Probably one of the best sites to get Q&A about tax defaulted auctions. Now, they're going to call it Broward County tax deed sale, but it's really an auction, so keep that in the back of your mind. All right, now where are you going to find out information about that? Well, look right at this map in front of you right now. You see those little white circles? That's how many auctions are taking place within that state in the next 90 days. This calendar updates every single day. I'm here today to show you how to make money. To do that, I'm going to show you briefly that there are thousands of tax defaulted real estate properties across the 3,000 plus counties in the United States. This is quite interesting. You're looking at the Ted Thomas Magic Interactive Map and Auction Calendar. It changes every day. Now, I created the calendar and the map so I would know how many auctions are taking place every day in the United States. Now I can show the little guy how to make money. Most importantly, I created this system so I could have an auction list for each auction 24/7. Okay, so today I'm talking about the Broward County tax deed sale. Now, keep in mind, it's an auction. The auction is going to go to the highest bidder. So ask yourself, if you can buy a slightly used and abused property for 20 cents on the dollar, 30 or even 40 cents on the dollar, and you can put signs up there on the front lawn, you could use eBay, you could use multiple listing, you could use Craigslist, you could use any electronic site that you wanted, and then you could resell that property. You bought it for 20 to 40 cents, you could sell it for 70 to 80 cents. Would that work for you? Well, that's the kind of thing that's probably going to happen at the Broward County tax deed sale. Now remember, it is an auction. The highest bidder is going to get it. Now the county needs the money to pay their bills. The profit you'd make on that margin, if you bought it 20 cents on the dollar and you sold it at 70 cents, that margin is going to make you a lot of profit. You may be able to take care of yourself and your family. Okay, now who does this? Well, people that buy at auctions are really investors. A lot of them are entrepreneurs. Now, why do entrepreneurs get involved? Well, there's a lot of reasons for being self-employed. All right, maybe you don't fit into the corporate mold. Maybe you're not, a person that's templated and can do exactly what the corporation needs. So you don't want to work for somebody else. You want to work for yourself and do work that you want to do. That's the kind of people that we see at these tax defaulted auction. Now, at the Broward County tax deed sale, you're going to see some aggressive investors. Many of my people that work with me that are investors and get started, they're used to working a 40-hour week, and they quit that 40-hour week to go home and actually work 60 hours to be an entrepreneur because they want the freedom to make their own decisions. Now, if that's you, well, we completely understand you. All right, now throughout these videos, I include some very interesting things that happen to my students throughout the United States. So I'm going to show you an example of one of those things right now, and you'll kind of get the idea. I'm in the business of helping people be successful at tax defaulted auctions and also tax lien certificates. And recently, at a tax defaulted auction right here in Florida, very similar to the Broward County, just across the state in Hernando County, which is right next to Tampa, one of my students purchased a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. Now, it was assessed at $91,000. All right, now this property was completely overgrown with trees, did not look too good, but he purchased the property for only $9,100. So you got the property for 10 cents on the dollar. I don't know what you're going to pay, but I can tell you this. The highest bidder at the auction is the one that's going to get it. So at auctions, you can expect that there'll be many properties that are junk. Don't buy junk. But there'll also be many properties that are used and abused. That's what you want to look at. Now, there'll be some properties that are really good properties, and all they need is paint and a little cleanup, and they're ready to go. So there's a little bit of everything at each one of these auctions. But you're going to have to check the property. Now, don't buy a property unless you had boots on the ground. If you haven't seen the property and you don't know the condition of it, I'm going to tell you not to buy it. Because when you buy, that auction is final. When that gavel comes down, you're going to own that property. So let's slow this whole thing down. Make sure you get somebody, either yourself or someone you trust, to look at that property, because you need to know the condition. What if there was a hurricane between the time you looked and decided to buy and there was a hurricane? What if there was a flood? Or what if there was a fire on the property? Or worse, next to a chicken farm or next to a pig farm, and people aren't going to buy the property from you. So you need to look at the property. When you're looking at the property, you also want to determine your exit strategy. Look at what you're going to be able to sell it for. Remember, you're trying to buy it at the lowest price possible and then have some margin where you're going to be able to sell it. Today I'm talking about the Broward County tax deed sale. All right, now they're calling it a tax deed sale. It's really an auction, so keep that in the back of your mind. All right, so this is a very active auction. Expect a lot of bidding. Expect it's going to happen fast. Expect that there's going to be some high prices. Expect that there's aggressive people there. All right, now the county's going to issue you a deed to that property. Now, it's not going to be a warranty deed. I said it's not going to be a warranty deed. It might be a treasurer's deed. It might be a tax collector's deed. It might be a sheriff's deed. I can tell you one thing. All of those deeds, whatever the name on it is, it's going to be a quitclaim deed. It'll always have the effect of a quitclaim deed. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a broker. So you need to get advice from an attorney. But I can tell you roughly about a quitclaim deed. That means the county is saying they are not responsible for the condition, and they're not responsible for any defects in the title. I said the county is not responsible. They're giving you a quitclaim deed. You're not going to be able to sell that property with just a quitclaim deed. All right. So again, I want to reiterate, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a real estate broker, and I'm not giving you legal advice. From a layman's standpoint, you're getting a quitclaim deed. That means that really qualifies for buyer beware. Most of the people that attend this auction, their objective is buy it low and sell it high. I get the idea. I do a little bit differently. I try to buy it low and sell it low so I can sell it quickly. All right, but you're after margin. That's what you're looking for. And you're going to see there's some pretty big margins at the Broward County tax sale auction, okay? All right, now keep in mind what I said. If you can buy between 20 and 40 cents on the dollar and sell between 70 and 80 cents on the dollar, you decide. If that'll work for you, you're probably going to find a lot of that. The county needs money, and the profit you make will sure take care of your family. All right, now I'm running out of time. For those of you that have forgotten it, just know that right below me, if you're interested in an auction list and want to know more about it, we'll gift you an auction list. You can have a sample list. Just go right below me. I'm Ted Thomas. Don't forget, request your free auction list right below me.